I thought I'd give everybody an update on this truck. You can see there's a mess under it. You can also see you don't need a big fancy ass building to build something nice. We pulled the fuel cell out of it. You put the other tank in it, and the new tank is just almost as in the way of the exhaust as the cell was, other than it's right above the rear end. So what I did was some serious redneck engineering, but it works, and it works for me. These are two toolboxes I bought at yard sales. I paid $5 for that bottom one for a small pickup like a Ranger S10. Top one's for a full-size truck. This one is bolted to the bed. I took the lid off of it. Coincidentally, the full-size one sets right on it and sets on the bed in unison with each other. So I went in and cut the bottom out, left 1.5 inches all the way around, and I took and drilled holes and put 1/4-inch rivets in it and riveted it to the bottom box. Inside there, the whole bottom of that is a fuel tank. Okay, it's an aluminum fuel tank similar to a fuel cell. It's got a sending unit. It's got an inlet return or an outlet, a return, a vent, and a rollover vent in it. But it also has baffles in it, so the gas can't slosh around, which most car gas tanks don't have baffles in them anyway. Just a minute, Joe. Then I made a piece that sits in the bottom of this box with just the fill neck and everything over here in the corner, so I can still use this as a toolbox. Right here's where the gasoline fill will be. And I'll show you what I used to make the flange for this out of a stainless header collector to mount the cap in there and recess it in and make it look nice. Just a minute, Joe. You're getting on my nerves. The drop pitman's arm is on. As you can see, it leveled the drag link out. Now the only problem I got is when you steer it, the shocks are out of whack for the steering stabilizer, so it will only turn one way so far and the other way so far because it pulls the shocks out all the way. New steering U-joints in. Nice new 3/4 double D. Got that all together. Drilled my dimples in the 3/4 D. Drilled a little dimple in the steering box for the set screw to anchor into. There's the fittings for the -6. I also found out that in 1994, the hydroboost is a one only for a KR 3500. It is completely different than 93 and completely different than 95. Took me 1.5 weeks and 2 tries to O'Reilly's to get the correct one. I now have it. I picked a master up for it today because the current master cylinder I had, which was the big bore half-ton master cylinder, will not work. It's about piston travel inside the bore. I'll pick it up today. Then we can get that done. The sucky part about all of this is bleeding the system. That sucks. I got to change over to a manual proportioning valve because with the disc brakes on the back and the stock proportioning valve, I had a good friend tell me that you might have issues with it locking the back brakes up, them being very touchy. So we're going to do that. I had a antifreeze leak right here. First I thought it would puddle up just a little bit there, about the size of your fingernail, right there. First I thought it was the thermostat housing because it was a little wet right here. So I snugged it up. Come to find out, it's what I thought originally. It was leaking right here, running down and puddling. So I went back, retook, and he had the intake, the engine builder torqued at 20. I took it to 25 foot-pounds, no more leak. Wiper cowls on there. $5 at the pick and pull for it. The 2 little wing pieces, the wiper arms are on. From GM, that's $190 for that wiper cowl. I went to pick and pull, and there was 4 or 5 good ones. I bought 3 and brought them home. I got to move these over. just a little bit to get them lined up. The grill's got to come out anyway because I've got to replace these plugs, as the backs, the two of them, are completely dry rotted. I got all new ones for it. Change the front core support mounts, take these mock-up ones off, put the 3/16 ones that I made for it on like I did the other four cab mounts. Get the fuel lines run. There's a bunch of stainless 2.5-inch pipe laying there. Get the rest of the exhaust. That's why it's sitting here, so I can get my welder to it. It won't fit in the garage. It sets too high, and I am not switching out all four wheels and tires to put it back in the garage. I think I already told you the windshield's been replaced in it. We got the disc brake done, which I've also got to weld the tabs on back here for the soft lines, like right there where I'm going to put them, and then take the lines off. And I got new shorter lines to put on it that are 1/4 inch instead of the 3/16. But as you can see, the fuel tank set right there behind where that silver bracket's bolted in for the fuel pump, the Carter pump. It's set right up in there is where that fuel cell's set. You can see where the mufflers are at. That muffler I'm going to have to loosen and twist it back around flat. But I'm going to bring the exhaust straight back, all the way back to here, and I've got tips. I'm just going to turn it down right here behind the bumper. And then I also got to get the bumper brackets on here. Tighten these bolts for the back bed spacer. Get them tightened up. Then it's going to go up and get the alignment done on it. And between me, I don't know the machine. I haven't messed with an alignment machine in 20 years. But I do know how to set the toe. I do know how to adjust the camber on these with the inserts and the ball joints. We'll take the stabilizer shocks off. We'll get everything set. We'll center the steering wheel with the drag link. That's the only time you should touch a drag link. Make sure it turns far enough right to left. If it don't go lock to lock, that's fine. Okay. Sometimes these drop pitman arms will roll around and hit the spring. But usually by the time you get to that, you've got enough turning radius. You don't have to worry about it. But without it, and the pitman arm clear up here 2 inches higher, when you turn it all the way and this swings around this way, it's pulling up right here and it starts to compress the spring, and you can literally watch the truck will just squat down on this side. That ain't no good. Even with the lifted steering arm, you still need to set your drag link level to the ground, not parallel to the spring. So, and then I've got to weld up those two bigger holes. I'll just clamp a piece of aluminum or copper behind it with a C-clamp, weld those all shut, then I'll re-drill the new holes for the support bracket. I'll show you like on the other side. I got to take this one off and also weld the hole, because there's a little support bracket. They don't line up, and I don't want extra holes in the chassis. So there's the front cab mount. So, but that's where I'm at. Hope to have it done so we can go get the alignment Monday. It's supposed to be pretty decent weather, like today in the mid 60s. Perfect weather to work on something outside. You're not burning up, you're not sweating. So we'll get this all finished up. You can see all the body lines line up. This door ain't shut all the way. So, and for the gentleman that wants all the information on this, it's kind of straightforward. You need to set your cab and your front fenders, get them up there, center up your wheel opening, put the cab down as low as you can get it on the chassis where everything fits, make your body mounts out from there. Now, you see right here, OBS inner fenders, dude, they fit fine. Okay, they fit perfectly fine. I just got to finish putting the bolts on this one. And then got some 062 diamond plate that I've bent up. It's going to go across here, up across, around, and over to here to fill all that in. Same thing in the back. It's going to come off of down here, come over, kind of curve up, go across, curve back down, come into here. I'll make a tab to bolt it to this. It'll bolt in here, and then I'll rivet it into this inch wide pinch weld all the way around. And then I've got 2 of these new too I got to put in there. And that's what I'm going to do to shield it from throwing shit all up under the bed. So, but that's where we're at. And then I gotta go get me I gotta put a helicoil and a new bolt in that hole right there, which it pulled the threads out of. It was like that when I got it, but I'm gonna fix it on that axle shaft. And then the last things I'll do, I'll fix that yoke that's leaking on the transfer case. It's leaking between the splines on the shaft and the splines on the yoke. I got the rubber seals that got the teeth on them that slide up on the shaft, and then I'll silicone the shit out of it, which is an old trick. And then we'll put the front drive shaft in it, which I run into nothing but trouble with on that, because being an automatic small block 350 turbo 205 or 203, this calls for a 27 7/8 front drive shaft length. I got one, it wouldn't go in there, it's 1.5 inches too long. The 24 3/4 or 24 13/16, which would be for a manual transmission, you got to extend it all the way out, and you got like 1 inch left on the slip yoke. This has actually got one for I think it's a 69 72 era, not clear back to 67, but in there, front drive shaft. It's got the CV joint and everything, and it fits in there perfectly. So can't go off what everybody tells you online, because a lot of times the information ain't correct. So, and you can't measure straight to there, straight to here, because you have a CV joint that's going to come out, then turn down, and then come out. But at least it don't hit the header or nothing like that. Square body 4x4s and headers and front drive shafts usually have an interference issue. They don't with this. And so, and the pitman arm deal, 4-inch lift kit, you can get away with just the raised steering arm, but when you go to 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, you got to start doing it. And anything over 6-inch at that point, I would probably, and I'll probably do it on this truck at some point, if I got enough room in there, is we'll switch over down the road to a crossover steering setup. I'll change the knuckles on it and all that, and do that. So we've had cold, rainy weather for the last couple days, and then I've been doing stuff to the house and doing some other things. So I ain't really had time to work on this. Didn't get the S10 out. Can't find fuel, race fuel for it. So finally found some of that. I bought all they had. They had 5 gallon pails. I bought all of it. So it's good for 2 years as long as you don't open it. So I'll have plenty for next year, but we're going to get it out this weekend for one last hurrah. I wanted to do it last weekend, but things didn't work out that way. Other people had plans for my time other than myself. I told them this weekend, don't even bother me. So there's an update on this. It's almost done. Then we'll get to see it run and drive. Everybody stay safe. God bless. Later.